Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the Hack Shop here on the Dahaka program. We've been here before. You've seen all sorts of stuff go on in here. But on today's edition of Dahaka, we are once again, take a wild guess, working on the Sasquatch. What is it this time, you might ask? It's upper and lower ball joints, both sides. I already took care of the driver's side. You're going to witness firsthand what it takes to do it on the passenger side. Stay tuned. Anyways, you know the typical drill by now. Take off the hubcap, get out the lugs, pull the wheel off, and then the nightmare begins. Remember that scene from A Christmas Story where Ralphie's dad's like, you know, pull the lugs, and then he's all like, oh, fudge! Yeah, that was great. That wasn't the word, it was the word. It was the F-dash word. So now that we got the obviously easy part out of the way, I want to show you just what we're in for, because a lot of Ford owners don't realize this, but if you want to replace your upper ball joint OEM, you got to take the entire control arm out. And those of you who know me personally have heard me rant about this for years now, okay? Because you can't just press out the ball joint. You actually have to have a control arm and ball joint all in one unit. And to get to that, we got to go brake, knuckle, shock, control arm. It's excessive, it's ridiculous, it's a design flaw, and I don't like it. So, first things first. Maybe in this instance it's like fourth things fourth. We're going to relieve the pressure of the caliper on the brakes because that's what professionals do and not hackers, although the way I'm doing it is probably hackerific. This could take a while, stay tuned. Okay. Once you know you got that freed up, then you got to do two more very important things. And that is, one, set up a hack light, because it is getting late after all. And two, and this comes from our previous repurposing episode, bring over your hack creeper. Because God forbid you kneel down on this job, because it's going to be a long one. So now, we're going to take off the caliper itself. Ugh, wow. I think we need some leverage. Just a bit. Let's tear up this wheel well. Ugh. I guess it's been a while. Oh, that's good for it. Part of the joys of using 12-point sockets is hacking up all the heads of your bolts. Okay, that is the second bolt, the caliper. We already get the bottom. Now, if you don't feel like disconnecting brake lines, which I'm assuming you don't, most people don't, just use to carry it, kind of like what I'm using to carry that camera, a 5-gallon bucket. What do you think, the hack is going to buy a tripod? Got another thing coming. So we got our brake caliper off, and the disc should just slide right off from there. Now, I'm going to get a little more in depth here. If you have a 4-wheel drive truck, which I believe most of these F-150s are, you're also going to have to remove your 4-wheel drive shaft. Part of that starts with taking this vacuum line off. So we pull that out. Now we're down to the knuckle. This is going to be a lot of fun to get off because it also involves removing that 4-wheel drive shaft. So next up, we're getting the nut out of the front of this hub. First we got to get this little cap off, which is, there we go. And take this nut off. but it spins the whole shaft. So basically, you got to kind of give it a little gentle persuasion until it frees up like that. Now, I've replaced this entire hub before, and when you put this back on, to manufacturer's spec, you're actually supposed to tighten this nut down to a certain torque. And Dahaka never did that last time. It's probably not going to do it again this time. Thank you very much. Now, next up, Dahaka's got to take out the M11 bolts or whatever, M18 headed bolts that hold in this hub. And it sounds like a thunderstorm is brewing out there to boot. So here goes. Good thing we're in the garage and not outside. It's there. Now, I'd just like to get something off my chest about this whole job. And I know I'm repeating myself, but it bears repeating. Most normal times that you replace an upper ball joint, you have what's either a press bit or you have like 3 mounting holes, okay? But the Ford design is such that we have to go to these extremes. Normal design, we wouldn't even have had to pull the brake caliper off. That wouldn't even have been a thing, not even a step. And yet here we are now, going the extra mile. I mean, just look at this craziness. Why should we ever have to be pulling off the hub and taking the entire knuckle off just to get to 1 ball joint? It's beyond me. But since we're in here, we're doing the lower ball joint too. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to continue to rant. So moving on to positioning the camera to the front of the vehicle, we will be taking off the tie rod next. This will be a 21mm wrench. Okay, that nut's off. And the tie rod is off. Next up, we're going to grab the lower ball joint nut, and you know what? On second thought, leave the tie rod attached next time for some extra support, so you don't got this going on. That's the hacker! Okay, once you get that nut off, another thing you're going to want to do before you go for the upper ball joint, so you're going to want to make sure you have the control arm supported. The lower control arm, that is. Because these things drop out pretty easy, and you're going to have a hard enough time handling the knuckle and the shock, so don't set yourself up for failure. In fact, you get another jack stand in there too, which I do have one. If you want to move it up and down and keep it in position, and what have you. Now, it's time to take the nut off the upper ball joint / upper control arm. The whole reason we're on this job. So let's do this. So now we're going to loosen the nuts in the control arm so that we have the play on the knuckle here. And the reason we won't be able to pull the bolts completely out is the same reason we have to pull this shock out. And that's because they're mounted on the inside facing out. Awesome design, Ford. Built for tough.